quiet, it's starting.
The All-Color Tribe Podcast presents Black Injun, Ballad number 1, A Labor Alliance, an all-cast audio epic starring MF Rex, Timber Lean, Amy Davis, and Melissa K. Marks as King Mel, and Mila Kunis as Big Motherfucker. Oh yeah, free Leonard Pelletier already? Howdy, hi, and what's happening, y'all? Hope you're healthy, hydrated, well-fed, and have someone who likes you, alongside time to think outside the here and now. Welcome to the All-Color Tribe Podcast. I am BW Sun. I thank you for tuning in and joining me for this day's display of the great American tale, Black Injun, Ballad number 1, A Labor Alliance. As always, I gotta say it, if you're just finding our show for the first time, it'll be best to dial on back to episode number 1 and not miss any of the action-packed, epic ear-ringing our audio adventure has to offer. Thinking on it, we sure have come quite a ways now with Black Injun, Big Motherfucker, and Aella. For those who are up to date and acquainted with what we have going on here, you'll know that when we parted paths last time, Black Injun was on his knees, nuts in hand, after being booted by an angry Aella, who, after delivering the near-crippling kick, marched off on her own to have a minute only to find a foot in her own face and concussed for the second time this tale, for those of y'all who are counting, from a stranger horsetop. So that's where we're going to be picking up today. Hopefully you haven't been holding your breath the whole time and wait to hear what happens, but if you had, thanks for letting it mean so much to you. That's what makes it all worth it. Now, as you're most likely aware, we use language some might consider too savory for youth's taste buds, so you're cautioned, and there's no need to seek out a Socratic inn for the author. With that all taken care of, let's get on to the dope shit, shall we? Enjoy.
Chapter 23, Fault and Frustration. The next morning, eyes blink the sunlit world of the woke into focus. The view he wakes to is Big Motherfucker's stubbled mug.
Shit, what?
Following his friend's fat finger, Black Injun sees Aya's bedroll still rolled up, unprovoked, unused. He sits up and looks around for the gone girl.
Motherfucker!
He creates a chore of rising, cursing everyone and everything under his breath, snatching up his pistol and tomahawk.
All right, let's go find her.
And so they go, Black Injun and Big Motherfucker, walking through the woods in hopeful pursuit of their petite pal. They keep a watchful eye, scouring the surroundings for any potential clue on Aya's whereabouts.
If you see something, say something. Just give a holler.
Biggin sulks along with his reticent resent, aggravated with his compadre's actions.
Hey, this ain't on me. She ran off on her own, all emotional and shit.
The woods begin to clear. There's a path. Big Motherfucker is the first to step on it. When Black Injun arrives, he joins Biggins, whose view is glued to the ground. There, halfway embedded in the soil and a hoof print, is the bunny doll. Big Motherfucker looks up at Black Injun full of concern, and Black Injun looks back.
Hey, you big fuck. Make me feel bad ain't gonna get her back no quicker. So you can just go ahead and dead that shit right now.
Black Injun swipes up the doll from the dirt, brushes it off.
We know which way she went. That's something.
Seems like just yesterday we all had our hands up in the air, cheering, because medicine was saving us. Our days of sickness and pain were a figment of tomorrow's imagination. And now here we are, unimproved and unchanged, despite the medical advancements the media assures us are happening. All the while, diseases from old become ever more present. Lymphatic filariasis is up 30% in the Northeast. The South has seen elevated numbers of rinderpest for the last 4 years, and smallpox took out an entire town in Oregon just this past year. Isn't it about time we stopped listening to professionals and started taking care of ourselves? After all, you're the only one that matters. This has been a message from the human race.
Chapter 24, Into the Lion's Den. Gagged with a cloth sack overhead, hands bound and tethered, Aella can't see where she's being pulled to. Light is slipping through the looser threads of the sack. She can see the morning light beginning to show. She knows two men have her, but they sound the same. One of the same voices illustrates its impotence and insatiable burning sensation whilst pissing. They've been going downhill, but the conversation shifts when the ground begins to level.
Who do you think will get her? Only God knows. Well, Whittle got the last one. Jersey won before him. The Lord will bless he who deserves it, brother. Sure is pretty, though. Aye.
The leash tied to Aella, on the other end, is held by one of the disguised men. Both match, dressed in the same robes and hood. Ahead of them are the high walls and the gate of the Lion's Den. Long ago, it was called Fort Grant, built as a staging point for genocide. Then it became a prison, another kind of place for another kind of genocide. Then it fell to ruin for a long time, until being resurrected to its current state of glory. As the horsemen close in on the gate, it opens, and they tow Aella in. Once inside, the gates close behind them, and the men pull off their hoods to reveal two pale-skinned twins, Leonard and Jacob. They're balding on the far side of middle age. The sandy-colored strings that remain are all a mess with the hoods removed. Jacob, the more light-hearted double, steps up to Aella and removes the cloth sack. Her eyes blink, acclimating to the morning light.
We're home.
She's startled by her alabaster captor, and then she sees another one of him. Confused and confined within walls of unfamiliar, Aella locks eyes with a girl who's younger than herself. The girl's face is flat and sullen. She's wearing a drab-colored dress with a scarf to match draped overhead. The exchange doesn't leave Aella feeling any more optimistic about her situation.
Don't worry, little lamb. You don't need to be afraid. Salvation is yours now.
Leaving her mouth gagged and her hands bound, Jacob tugs at the rope leash to Aella. The twins escort her through the community. As the day begins, more and more take to the street, all the girls wearing the same drab-colored dress and scarf as the girls she first seen. It's all young girls and women. Aella finds it peculiar. She only sees a couple antique men in the walk. The community itself is sturdy, well-kept. It looked pretty nice to her had she not been introduced as a prisoner. They reach the moot, clearly an important building, more ornate than all, but the one with the spiring steeple. Near its stairs are two large cages. Aella wonders if it will be her new home. She's pulled up the stairs. Leonard looks down at her with what passes for a smile. He pulls the gag from her mouth.
Be excited, child. You're about to speak with the Glos Boga, the voice of God.
Are you using water right now? Remember, if we don't use it all now, we won't get as much next year. And if we don't get it, that means someone else will. Is that what you want? Someone else to have our water? I didn't think so. Remember, every drop counts, because if we can't have it, no one will. This has been a message from the human race.
Chapter 25, Pretend Plans and the Paranormal. The bunny doll hangs from Black Injun's waist, its ears tucked behind his belt, next to his gun holster. Tomahawk in hand, he and Big Motherfucker continue to walk down the trail, looking for more clues pointing to Aella.
Really, this was my plan all along. Trying to find somebody who's stealing girls. The best way to bait him is gonna have to be with a girl, right?
Biggins doesn't buy what Black Injun is trying to sell. He doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to find her.
It'll be like two quests. Get the guy who stole the women and save our little friend, old hag. It's more legendary this way, yeah?
Like children do, Big Motherfucker raises his mammoth fist as to punch down on Black Injun, who in turn, still like children do, ducks and flinches.
Hey, stop! I'll shoot you.
Big Motherfucker waves him off, then his index finger is up and everything goes slow and serious. He taps his ear. Black Injun drops, head to ground. He hops back up and nods. They jump off the trail and take to hiding places behind foliage. Two men donned in the same robes and hoods as the twins trot along the trail on horseback. The hiding places work, and the cavalry passes without suspicion.
Shit, it's Ghost.
Big Motherfucker looks at Black Injun skeptically. The men are riding off. When they're good and gone, Biggins and Black Injun take back to the trail and continue to search for their small friend.
The world is a war zone, and it's time you pick decide. Who will you be? Define yourself with a homogeneous, singular, one-dimensional outfit that you will wear to let the world know exactly what kind of woke you are. Political party, cultural identity, sexual orientation, race, gender, whatever bigotry you decide to base your life on, remember, you are fighting the good fight. Equality, freedom, and peace will only be reached by grabbing the throat of those who think differently and choking that opinion out of them. This has been a message from the human race.
Chapter 26. So that's what he sounds like. It's not shiny and showy like the palace in Melville, but there's a richness in the construction of the moot, and Aella feels tiny once inside. They enter the main room of the lower floor. It's a long meeting hall. A table travels nearly the length of it. At the far end sit three men. Two are, again, about the age of the twins, Stefan and Willem. Stefan is tall, thin, and pointy everywhere possible in his face. Willem is splotchy, brawny, and pot-bellied. They sit on the flank of an older man, Glos Bogomilo, who is clearly in charge. Paper-thin skin, wearing wrinkles like tree rings. There are liver spots where hair once would have been, and gout swells in several of his knuckles. Glos Bogomilo's robes differ from his fellow man. Gold with a lion head embroidered in red thread. Stefan and Willem stand once Aella and the other two men are paces away. Willem gives her a wink. The wrinkles of Glos Bogomilo warp into a wide smile at the sight of the young girl.
Well, who is this precious little bird?
Found her during night patrol.
Where?
Trail up on the mountain, about 10 clicks out.
She have people?
We ain't seen none, no.
Tell me, little bird, have you lost your flock? Don't be afraid, all is well. You're in a safe place. But if you have people, we should find them. They'll want to know you're okay. It's alright. We live in a world hard to trust, tough to believe, but you will come to know my honesty in time. Take her to Helena. Have her bathed and dressed. We'll speak again shortly, little bird.
The rope tugs again and off she goes, following the twins once more to some other unknown place. Watching her leave, Willem salivates.
Blessed are those who receive such fruits in these barren times. Blessed indeed.
Chapter 28. A Bad Feeling. Inside the lion's den, Aella is in a small wooden washroom. The soapy water in the tub has gone cold, and Aella is sitting in front of a mirror, her hair being braided by Helena, an almond-eyed girl several years older, with a toasted complexion and rusty hair. Both girls are wearing the same drab-colored dress. Helena has the scarf on head.
What is this place?
This is the lion's den, home to our family, the chosen, the Lord's lions.
What does that mean?
Don't worry, little sister. All knowledge will be yours in time.
The door creaks open and in walks Willem. He's a surprise to Helena as much as Aella, but he pays no attention to the older. Waddling over to Aella, the man cheerily examines her with vile intentions and cutting eyes.
I'm supposed to be preparing her to meet with Losberger Milo. I wouldn't want him to wait.
He waves the older girl off without concern and takes Aya's chin into his fingers. She shudders to his touch.
My goodness, you're a pretty little thing. I could just eat you up. Just eat you all up, yes indeed.
He leans in, hand moving from her chin to a soft grip high on her thigh, and whispers into Aya's ear before inhaling hard to consume the scent of her hair. She's left pallid.
Well, I won't keep you.
He leaves. Aya watches him do so in the mirror, and she's afraid for herself. Helena returns to braiding her hair, as if nothing has happened.
You'll be named before dinner, and you are going to love it. The food is so good. You just wait.
Aya stares at the self she is becoming in the mirror. She doesn't recognize the face. It hardly resembles her.
Do you ever feel like nobody's listening to you? And you've got all the good ideas. You've got the answers. It's time the world know how incredibly important and intelligent you are. It's time you gained an audience. Join me today and amass your own following to hang on your every word. Gain enough followers, and that means profit. You'll be making big bucks just for being you, which honestly, isn't that how it should be? Why work when there's others who could be working for you? You're absolutely right. You need to step in front of the world and let everyone know it's all about me. Me is underwritten by the human race and is not responsible for the happiness or contentness of its users.
Chapter 29. A Closer Look. To get a closer look, Black Injun and Big Motherfucker have took position uphill, not far from the lion's den. Big Motherfucker is peering down at the colony through a spyglass.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to rethink this whole destiny thing. Hell, ain't nothing ever written in stone. And even if it is, stone wears away just the same as anything else.
The spyglass exchanges hands and Black Injun takes a look.
That's a whole lot of ladies. Gotta be the stolen girls. An old hag gotta be in there somewhere. The headache she gives me, it's creeping back into my skull just looking at the place.
He takes the spyglass away from his eye and looks to the big man, scratching his head.
Alright, well how the fuck are we gonna do this, Biggins? Looks like you only get in through that gate.
Two men stand silent in contemplation for a good minute. A light bulb begins to burn bright in Big Motherfucker's bowling ball of a head. He slaps Black Injun's shoulder and waves him on to follow.
About time you started pulling some weight. Fuck, big as you is.
Whoa, sure was a lot of things just happened in a short amount of time. Yes, indeed. Hopefully whatever Big Motherfucker has up his sleeve gets Aya out of that spot ASAP. Doesn't seem like the place anybody worth their salt would want to spend any time at all. Also, as far as cults go, worst name ever, the Lord's Lions. I bet the Templars thought of a name about similar to that, then they came up with Templars. All I'm saying is the author could have tried a little harder with that one. Nobody needs such an overt reference to Hercules' first labor, the Nemean lion. Gadzooks, we get it. But if you didn't know, Black Injun Ballad number 1 of Labor Lions is a reimagining of the first labor of Hercules. Actually Heracles, but the Romans had to be all Roman about it. Now, if you'd like to skip moments like the one we just shared, you can get the full-length audio drama on the All Color Tribe website for only $6, containing 20 minutes of story unheard in the podcast presentation, as well as a sneak peek into Black Injun Ballad number 2, The Dead President's Initiative. But, more than anything, we at the Tribe just hope you enjoy what we've put together, and you're willing to share it with your friends, second and fourth cousins, the cool people at work, your favorite English teacher, drug dealer, or Neil Gaiman. Either or, all of the above. Tell everybody to listen. One last time, I thank you so much for participating in the All Color Tribe podcast, and I will see you next time. Love, peace, and y'all be safe out there. Now, as far as I can figure, only way we get better people is by being better to them children who grow up to be the people. So let's put an end to child abuse in its many forms. If you need help doing so, please contact any of the following ASAP. Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline, 1-800-422-4453. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children Tip Line, 1-800-843-5678. RAIN's National Sexual Abuse Hotline, 1-800-656-4673. Our future is on us from here on out, folks. If we let them ruin what's left, then we can only blame ourselves for the failing. All Color Tribe, Futuo Amplificande Studium.